So I am Samit. I am, co-presenting here with my colleague Sumit here. So we'll be talking here about the mobile security, how, we are redefining the mobile security at Samsung. And first of all, I think a very warm welcome to all the respected army officers, the defense forces, as well as the other dignitaries, who are present here for taking their time out for attending this event. I think the session before, which was presented by Colonel Srijit, I think it was a very interesting presentation talking about, how geospatial technologies are being used. And I think we all saw in the Operation Sindoor that it's a technology war these days. Earlier you could see the enemy, now the enemy has become invisible. But, taking that further, you have all these technologies, but you need to equip your field forces, the officers who are there in the field or in the aircraft or at other places with the devices which are secure enough so that you can carry out the classified tactical operations with real time and at precision. So here we'll talk about some of those devices and the solution which Samsung has built up, and this is more than a decade experience which Samsung has had on the mobility journey, and we have had very successful cases both in India as well as with global department forces across the globe in doing the successful mobility. So when we look at mobility, we are not looking at only the devices. We are not looking at it in isolation. We are looking at, first of all, a complete life cycle of the security at the complete life cycle of the device, which starts from the way the devices are designed, the way the supply chain of the chips are being procured. I think we all saw that how a pager could be used to instigate attack. So how do you ensure your chips that you're procuring, they are secure? Your supply chain is watertight, it's secure. You're procuring it from the suppliers who are secure enough. So today we'll talk about this entire life cycle of this journey. We all know that security is a very widespread topic. It encompasses devices, endpoints, the network, the communication channel, the applications, the data, the IT infrastructure. But today we'll be restricting our presentation more from the endpoints and its associated network channel and the application. So moving further, so this slide talks about the threats which are prevalent when mobile devices are being used by the enterprises. I think we all know that mobile devices have become integral part of our life, whether it is personal use or official use. I think this is the device which we see the first thing in the morning because alarm is ringing on this device, and the last thing we check is the WhatsApp updates before we sleep. So this is, I think, has become an integral part. But with the proliferation of these devices, there are a lot of threats which are coming along with it. So these are some of the threats which IBM published a study in 2024, which talked about the different threats which are being faced by the enterprises. Number one, so around 69% of the organizations have experienced cyber attacks from the mobile devices perspective. Of course, when you look at other areas, there'll be much more. 50%, more than 50% of the devices were attacked with a phishing. I think this is, of course, the B2B, but when we talk about the B2C, I think there have been a lot of attacks for data breach. I think digital arrest, has become the new term, and I think government has, started a very active campaign now on the digital arrest. And there have been a lot of huge amounts of money, which have been siphoned off. And just imagine if such things, happen in case of defense forces. And if some breach has happened, of course, monetary is one aspect to it, but when you look at the confidentiality of the data, that becomes paramount. Third, I think this is an enterprise example, not much relevant here, but if a small theft data breach can cost you millions of dollars. But when it comes to defense, it's much more bigger than that. We'll cover in the subsequent slide. When we look at the threats, mobile threats, so from a defense perspective, so there are malware or spyware attacks which are there. So you have got these devices. See, these devices are going to be carried by the force people, when they are at home, when they are and they are doing their job. So how do you ensure that those devices are malware free or spyware free? Can the device automatically detect something bad is happening to us? So at Samsung, we are working towards, it. We are implementing, artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies as well on how to detect the user behaviors. Something, okay, this person, used this device at this location, a particular area. Now this is being used, by another location, at another location. So can some action be taken by the device on its own without, any intelligence coming from the network? The device may be in an offline mode. So those are, some areas. Then network-based attacks, the man in the middle. How do you, ensure that, the devices which are, being used by the armed forces, they are always connecting to the legitimate network. There are no, man in the middle. So we, we have experience, where we can make these devices lock to a particular private networks, which are being utilized, so that it is only connecting to those legitimate networks. Then last, is the insider threats. This could be intentional, and this could be unintentional also. Intentional, where someone, someone's, integrity or ethical, has been compromised, and he or she, himself, tries to manipulate the device to extract certain information out from there. So we will talk about this solution. And then, of course, the last is the unintentional. These are mobile devices which you are carrying, being in the, utilized in the battlefield. What happens, if this device is lost or stolen, or it gets into the wrong hands, in the hands of the enemies? So, and this device is not carrying, critical information. So how do you prevent them? So we'll talk about, we'll address all of these challenges in the subsequent slide. Let's look at, my colleague Sumit, will explain how, security is being, implemented currently.
Sure. So basically, we talk about mobility. So mobility is ubiquitous in nature now, right? Which means security becomes very important if, in case, you have to have a fully rolled out mobility across any of the use cases across the military services. Now, how do you secure those sort of endpoint devices which can be there across any of the terrains through the military operations? So what you want to do, basically, you want to secure those devices. How you want to secure those devices in terms of the softwares, in terms of the operating systems, in terms of the solutions that you want to incorporate in that, or in terms of the third-party integration that you want to have as a part of the devices ecosystem. So can we purely rely on the EMM, Enterprise Mobility Management, which is technically the mobile device management module? So EMM basically encompasses of three categories. One is your mobile device management, wherein you can block or restrict the usage of the device through any of the component which is there as a part of the manufacturing stack. Second, mobile application development. If you want to whitelist or blacklist any specific application on these endpoint devices which are on the field, you can always do that as well. Third is mobile content management. If you want to whitelist, blacklist any specific URL or an IP address, or if you want to have the communication through some specific VPN channeling or a tunneling, you can always have that through that set of tech stack also. Now, So do you think, this is enough? Is MDM enough? I think people, I remember, 10 years back, when MDM was a new terminology, we were selling MDM solution, to the customer, B2B customer. At that time, we were educating people about, why MDM is important. But if I, fast forward 10 years now, do you really think MDM is enough? Can it handle all the security elements which are required? So maybe we can impose certain IT policies as a part of the MDM umbrella on these endpoint devices. Objective is to harden the OS. So if you harden the OS, yes, you can restrict the usage of the device from the wrong usage perspective. But now there are certain scenarios wherein a lot of military leaders have raised concerns in terms of that there can still be a breach purely on the basis of MDM, the way you are securing an endpoint device. Maybe, may not be, depending upon how effective your coding or the logic is incorporated as a part of that. But there's another factor to it. If you don't want to purely rely on the MDM, you can always build the device from the root up level, which basically enhances the kernel security at the base and then gives you the overall ecosystem of the feature set on the device the way you want to incorporate from the manufacturing level itself. So Samsung can build a device as per the requirement from the manufacturing level, considering your scope of work, and can contain the overall futuristic device the way you want to operate that device in the field. So I mean, just a generic question. What do you think actually is the cost of breach if in case something happens? So Samsung, we have a different language with respect to breach. From the military services, we have a different language. So, I mean, if I just generally ask, what is the cost of breach if in case such sort of, things happens? Any guesses? So I would say, yes, the overall threat to the national security, right? And we have seen this in the recent past as well, the way, these operations are happening and the way we are creating some sort of, measures to mitigate those operations. So towards, envisaging the Viksit Bharat 2047, if we have to build some sort of a security dome, we have to create something in our overall logics which basically restricts or hardens any OS on the device which is available here. Yeah.
So I think you will all agree that when it comes to defense, the security is paramount. The work can get delayed, but it needs to be done in a secure way. That is more important. And see, one is the war which is being fought in the battlefield, but then there is a technology war also. Of course, technology is there in the battlefield as well, but there is a cyber war which is being fought between nations these days. And there are, state-sponsored, attacks which are there to get the classified information, to get the secret information. So at Samsung, we work, grounds up, from the design of the product to procurement of, those chips, and then going from deployment of those devices where we work, very closely with the customers to engineer the device along with them. So our teams, work very closely with the customer team to customize the software for the device. And then we also, provide the management. So we're looking at complete life cycle, and all our products, the enterprise products, are carrying 7 years of secure software upgrades. So the reason is, what is secure today may not be secure tomorrow. So how do you ensure that? Important is to address these things right from the beginning, because we know security, the threats which are present. But what about 5 years? You cannot envisage them now, because those threats, are going to come after 5 years. So with Samsung, we are committing 7 years of software upgrades with warranty and SMR for the devices. So which means, the devices that you choose, you can securely use them for next 7 years without any worry. And all these, upgrades are delivered not on the internet in a private network environment. So we have, our own solutions through which these solutions can be deployed in your data centers so that all the communication, all the upgrades can happen in a secure way. And we're already doing it for, globally, as well as, we've recently done it for one of the defense forces in India, which they are, utilizing this particular aspect. Yeah. So when I talk about the security, so we have security at the hardware level. So we have something called as a Knox Vault, which is a chip on the devices. All the passwords, trusted certificates, encryption keys, they're all stored in the Knox Vault. So even if device is lost or stolen, there's nothing to worry, because they are stored in a separate processor, separate, chip, separate area, nothing. And if device is compromised, then, that bit, gets fused, nothing can be read from the chip at all. We have Knox verified boot, which means the hardware is validating the software which is running, whether it's a Samsung signed software or not. Then it's not just one process, the software of the phone is on multiple layers. So let's say n layers are there, each layer, validates the next layer. And if there's something happens wrong, then the device, the device knows, and then it can inform the admin that the device has been compromised. Then, we have built up, various things up. This is a new thing which is called the zero trust. Don't trust anything. So here, the mindset, is based upon 3 principles. 1, always assume the breach has happened. You have to move away from that mindset, okay, when something will happen, we will act. No, you have to act now, and you have to assume that breach has already happened, so that you're always on your toes. So we have, softwares now which are continuously monitoring using the AI and the machine learning on the devices if something is happening on the wrong. And then if something wrong has happened, inform on the network side or do some action on the device itself. So Samsung, recently launched an anti-theft feature, where if something has happened or, a snatching event has happened, so it can detect, while snatching, the phone has, been snatched, or phone is being utilized, at another location which you have not, used. It can automatically take actions without even connecting to the internet. Second, verify explicitly. So every time a request for a resource is required, whether on the device hardware or on the application side, verify all the time. Third, give the least privileges. If an application or something requires only one permission to run, give only one permission. Don't give any other permission. Yeah. Then we have software customization, as I was talking. So here, the Samsung R&D engineers work closely with the customer, understand their pain points, design the software as per them. For example, on this device, you do not need any interfaces, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB. These interfaces are not required. You can completely block it from the binary itself so that they are not available for anyone. Second, all the testing is also done by the Samsung team. They sit for months at customer premise, testing there in their environment, because we know in the defense forces the protocols are different, the security aspects are different. So we work there, sitting there, and then we do the delivery. Then we have our own softwares to do the software delivery on the private networks securely. Yeah. Then this is an example of how our devices can connect to the private network securely, so that you're always ensuring that devices are only connecting the private network. For example, we can restrict that this device does not connect to any of the public networks like Airtel or Vodafone. Even if you insert a SIM card, it will not detect it. We can also go down to the level where, let's say you are transmitting 5G or 4G technology in a particular band frequency, we can lock that band frequency also. If you're doing it in band 30, you're doing it in band 28, we can lock that the device is only connecting to your network in those particular bands. Even if your network starts to transmit in any other bands, the device will not connect. So now, as Sumit, explained in the beginning about the EMM, let him, talk more details about the EMM solution.
So basically, as I was talking about, that it's a 360-degree approach, the way we are securing the overall ecosystem of devices through our on-premise EMM, which is actually required for the military services and the leaders here. So now, it not only provides you the software and solutions, but also integrations with the third party, along with the SMR upgrades, as well as OS update for the good 7 years of time frame. So looking at the paucity of time and a red screen in front of me, so I'll just give you a brief video of about the journey of how security has become important for military leaders through engagement with such sort of devices and solution softwares that Samsung has been building, not only for India, defense, but also for the global defense. So,
1 second.
Introducing the ultimate on-premise enterprise mobility management solution for governments and enterprises demanding the highest level of security. Samsung SDS EMM. Top-tier security is the cornerstone for effective device management. Finding it challenging to choose the right EMM solution? As the world's first to receive common criteria certification on both Android and iOS, Samsung SDS EMM provides distinguished security features. Let's explore what sets our EMM apart. Even in an air-gapped network, our private push service ensures fast and reliable communication. To ensure sensitive data stored on user's device, our EMM seamlessly integrates dual data at rest encryption developed by Samsung Electronics. Additionally, dual VPN chaining offers an extra layer of security. Businesses often utilize a range of solutions in addition to EMM. Can't they be unified more efficiently? Our EMM offers a single unified console where you can easily manage multiple solutions. Integrating third-party solutions like IAM and MTD, our EMM excels with NOC solutions, providing precise management of Samsung devices. But that's not all. we offers features that enhance your digital employee experience, providing mobile security and productivity. IT admins can pre-configure screens with essential work apps using the Kiosk Wizard. Employees can share a single device across shifts, ensuring uninterrupted workflows with our shared device feature. In the event of a device error, remote support ensures rapid detection and troubleshooting. Let's deep dive into the world of EMM, particularly in high-security environments where Samsung SDS EMM thrives. It delivers unparalleled mobile security, crucial for sectors like public and defense. IT admins can easily apply various security policies and set security levels for different user groups through the admin console. Additionally, data can be securely exchanged in a robust dual-layer security environment, protecting against tampering and eavesdropping. In the event of a potential security breach, such as device theft or loss, remote factory reset or data wipe prevent any risk of data breaches. The ideal on-premise EMM solution for top-level security. Experience Samsung SDS EMM.
Check, Sumit.
So basically, we talk about the defense-grade industrial devices that we have launched basically for the military services, right? So what we have been doing is, so these are rugged devices, which we call it as, right? In the X cover, the smartphone form factor, as well as the tab form factor, which can be mounted on a armored vehicle and can be, moved around any of the terrains, basically. So now such devices are MIL 810H certified. They have got IP68. On top of it, if you're having any application specifically that is being worked upon and the battery is low, you can always plug the charger, remove the battery, put a new battery. The overall continuity of the application, the workflows will still be there. It won't exit out of the overall impact. Plus, these devices are anti-shock. Even they are rugged proof as well. So even if we drop it, so absolutely fine. So these are military standard devices which can be operated in those extreme conditions with respect to temperatures and as well as with respect to the terrains that they have been walking through. So these are the global certifications that the high standard certification that we have been incorporating as a part of these devices stack. And these are global certifications from South Korea, US, as well as FIP certified. And that's how we channelize the overall devices which can be utilized for specifically for the military purposes. Why Samsung SDS? So Samsung being a conglomerate, we have got various group companies, and how we approach the defense ecosystem is through these group companies interface, wherein from one of the group company we position the kind of devices, another group company we position as a collaborative effort, the services and the solutions, and then we give the overall stack to the customers for a seamless operations through this ecosystem. So that's all about this brief about any questions we would like to answer in this.